Hello and welcome to episode 3 of this video series. My name is Gabe Tannenhouse. I'm the founder of House Media Systems, the subject of this channel. It's my media technology consultancy, and I've made a commitment to drop a piece of content every day for the next 100 days. And today is day 3, and I thought I could discuss AI a little bit today. It's a popular and thorny topic, little clickbaity maybe. So let's just jump right in. So to begin with, not everybody likes AI. That's as simple as that. It's disruptive to the industry in ways that not a lot of people are used to, and it's empowered larger corporations to downscale their uh, cast and crew sizes. It's weird. It's kind of spooky, and it presents a lot of challenges to a lot of people. But I am a big fan and an early adopter of AI. I think it's a really profoundly useful and powerful tool. I use it almost every day. I use it to do things that I could never do without it. I've used it to, mix audio in a much more detailed way than I ever did as an editor. I've used it to make websites for both of my businesses. I've used it to make software, which I don't know the first thing about making software. And the cool thing about AI is to me is kind of its like imperfections. You can use AI, as I said, to like build a website, but it's not going to do it like just right. You're always going to hit kind of a wall, and you're going to have to jump in and kind of pull yourself over the finish line. So, like for example, I've used ChatGPT to write HTML to design me a website. House.video was built using AI. I've used AI to build the Space Ocean website, which is a aerospace company that I sit on the board of. And also for it's unpublished, but I've used it to build one for my ice cream shop. And in all of these cases, you kind of hit a wall where you just can't kind of get all the elements on screen exactly how you need them. So it's incumbent upon you, or me in this case, to step up and say, I'm going to look at this document, this HTML document, and, here's an element that is named, this piece of text that I want to move, and it's got a bunch of info, and I'm going to start screwing with these parameters. It's the same way you might teach yourself to use After Effects or Final Cut or Premiere back in the day to, learn about keyframing. You just had to kind of jump in and do it. So AI gets you close enough to success in these other skills to kind of jump in and teach yourself the rest. And with coding, with like writing, say, Python scripts, you learn some kind of common tropes, for lack of a better word, in coding. So like I learned through using AI what a Flask app is. And different things like that, and how to kind of install different bits of software onto my computer through terminal, rather than like an installer or a PKG file, anything like that. So it kind of forces you to level up while at the same time making these other levels and these other skills accessible to you in a way that they never could have been before. And that's to say nothing of the creative output that you can generate with AI, which I get it. Again, it's weird, it's spooky, but it's also it's prolific. It can be truly beautiful. Some of the videos and images, and I work with people who will just spend hours and hours prompting and prompting until they get the exact image or the exact video that they want, or even the exact song. Right? There's Udio, which will write music for you, and you just tell it what you want to hear, but you got to kind of tell it over and over and it's going to screw up a million times. But man, when it lands, it's super useful. You can, make a ton of money, and you can sell your skills in different ways. And and honestly, this is where the democratization of media production has led us. If you hope to be successful without having a corporate job, which, as I discussed in the first episode, is kind of where I'm at. You need to be a kind of an army of one, where you need to do everything. You need to cut tape, you need to mix audio, you need to do finishing, you need to generate music, you need to build graphics. You need to be able to do it all and then some, if you want to stand out. And AI will allow you to do that. And if you're, one of these people who refuses to acknowledge the impact that digital media has had on our industry, then, I don't really know what to tell you. Good luck. I know that there are still jobs for people who, won't acknowledge that impact, but I mean, we're losing those jobs by the day, and the people that keep them are not getting paid as much doing them. So, it's kind of, we're in a real sink or swim moment in this industry, and AI gives you the opportunity to swim. So that's what I like about it. The pushback against AI reminds me of a time about 20 years ago or so when I was getting my first jobs in video, in post-production. And there was a brand new program. It was called Final Cut Pro, and it was made by Apple. And it really took a lot of the principles that people had seen with the rise of, mainly with the rise of Avid Media Composer. But, there were other programs. But Avid is the main one, I would say. But the thing about Avid back in those days is you could not get a system set up for less than, $85,000, $100,000. And the sky was the limit. The better work you wanted to do, the more you needed to spend. And it was a huge blocker. And that's how, people of my age, again, I'm 45 years old, that's how we got access to those systems, is by, doing internships at these companies. And we would work overnight. We would load, analog videotapes into a digitizing infrastructure, and we would capture these videos overnight. And so we would have these empty offices that we worked in, and we could go use these Avid systems and learn how they worked and kind of mess around and play with them. And there was really no other way to get the skills that a lot of people take for granted now. My 11-year-old son uses CapCut like he was born to it. And it's free. And all you need is a phone to shoot video, and you just cut whatever you want. And that was unheard of when I started. And the attitudes that people who were entrenched in the industry up until that point took with Final Cut, with a program that, was still a couple grand, but it was a lot easier to afford than Avid. You didn't need any special hardware for it. You might need a tape deck that, again, might be a couple grand. And then you might need, like a FireWire cable. That was kind of the precursor to USB. But you could put these systems together very scrappily. And I remember I was talking to a technician who, was deeply entrenched in kind of the status quo of the industry up to that point. And I was talking to him about Final Cut, and he spit on the floor when he said the word Final Cut. He literally said Final Cut, and spit on the ground. He was a great guy, but he was kind of stuck in his, in the status quo of the industry. And he didn't want to or couldn't make that pivot to this bold new environment, this environment that allowed for, all the programming we enjoy today. Reality TV is a direct result of digital video. You could not shoot a show like Survivor or Big Brother where you just wasted, hours and hours and hours of footage, waiting for that one juicy moment. You could not have done that before. You could not have paid to have that stuff edited. It would cost more than like a Marvel movie. And I think that's a really important comparison because in that time, a lot of those people had to change careers because they couldn't keep up. And that's kind of how I see things now. I see people who, are so against AI, either creatively or technologically or kind of socioeconomically. And I'm not saying they don't have valid arguments, but I also think it's just kind of unrealistic to try to hold back a new technology and to keep people from experimenting with it, to keep companies from trying to save money with it. I just don't think that's a practical view. So that's my take. Yours may be different, and if it is, I'd love to hear about it. Please, leave a comment, and let's keep the conversation going. But for me, AI is a very powerful tool. It's kind of the cornerstone of my operation. I can build you AI tools for automation. I'm in the process of developing an AI system that can monitor your media network for, unexpected outcomes and unwelcome surprises in ways that current systems just can't do. And I think these are important steps forward, and I'm not of a mind to kind of throw them out in the interest of kind of preserving my own job or anyone else's, quite frankly. So, I'd love to hear what other people think about that. And I think that's where I'll leave it for tonight. So thanks for watching, and tune in tomorrow. I'll have another video up. I almost said tape because I'm that old. So yeah, watch for